What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to a new video. It's pretty dark in here. I'm doing this at night after the gym work, right before I go to work or go to sleep. Sorry, I'm gonna work on it for like an hour or two, get some small stuff done. But in between videos, we last left off, I installed the STI transmission and the clutch. That was pretty much all I got in. So did a little bit of work off camera. What I did was I installed the rear diff and axles. I hope this light helps. You can't really see because it's dark, so I'm sorry about that, but I didn't fill it up. I need to get a crush washer for the drain plug on the rear diff as well as the transmission on the front. So got the rear diff, the rear axles installed. I installed this axle in the front and I was gonna do the other passenger side one, but when I squeezed like right here, I don't know if you can do it right now, but it has a little crack right there. So I'm gonna have to replace the boot. So I'm gonna take this axle out, double check the other side, make sure that one's not like leaking anywhere. I'm gonna double check this one, make sure that one has no leaks. So if that's the case, then I gotta replace the boots. Just because they're already out, I might as well. And I don't want it flinging grease everywhere and it'll just be a problem later. I also got my slave cylinder in, my starter in, all the transmission bolts tightened. I got the I-wire conversion kit, so all the sensors work and everything. And then all I'm missing right here is the spring and this front pitch mount bolt, and that's pretty much it. And I can put the intercooler back on. Everything's tight up top. The last pieces I was waiting for were these for the shifter. They're like torque solutions bushings. This is like one of the bushings, and then also like some more bushings and the other bigger bushings. This is all for the shifter. And then I got this, if you can open it, this U-joint. It's like metal instead of rubber, and these are like hard polyurethane, so they're way stiffer. So the shifts from the videos I've seen, they help with like the side play, so it's just more straight forward and backwards, less like wiggle room. Not a short shifter or a full short shifter kit, but it'll definitely help. So I was waiting on those so I can install the shifter, then everything will be done. I can put the drive shaft in, and then all that would be left after that is that boot. Not too much left, just small things, just tedious things, waiting on different parts to come in the mail. So slowly but surely, I'm gonna install the shifter bushings and hopefully get the shifter installed tonight, maybe the drive shaft, and then that'll be pretty much it for tonight. I gotta order the rubber boot for this axle. Hopefully it's just that one boot and it's not any of the other boots or that inner boot. So that's what I'm praying for. I'm gonna order that tonight. Hopefully it'll come by Friday and we can get this thing running by the weekend. We got the shifter in, the new bushings on, the U-joint in, the new bracket or these polyurethane like little mount back here in, and it feels amazing. I'm gonna go up top and show you what it like kind of like looks like. I know you can't feel it, but it'll give you an idea. But this was a pain. If you're doing it with the drive shaft and the exhaust in, I don't even want to know how hard it would be, but because we had the space to do it. In the back, there is a roll pin. There is an inner one and outer one. We had to pop that out. I will link videos down below so you can try to see a better idea because everything is in the way right here. But we popped that roll pin out, and that allowed that back bracket where the U-joint connects to come off. Then we connected the U-joint to the shifter. Then we loosely put the bolts on, put it back on, put the roll pin on, tighten the top bolts on, and then we put this little guy right here, this bottom one, on, and then we connected the reverse lockout right here. It just slips on in a little pin, and then we have these loosely on as well. These were a little hard. If you get the like torque solutions upgraded like polyurethane or bracket or whatever you want to call this, or the bushing kit I should say, I had to take a pry bar right here and kind of pry it this way because the bolts kind of like go in at two different angles, kind of like almost making a V if it went far enough. So I had to like push this rubber over so it allowed this other bolt to go in, or vice versa, just because it's spaced out. I don't know if you guys could see that, how they're like angled. So just because this little rubber mount is so brand new, it's very stiff, so it was a little difficult to get on. And that is pretty much it. I'm gonna link videos down below that kind of explain this better. The shift's good, it feels good, it goes in every gear pretty smooth. So all we can do is start driving it and see how it feels. All that I'm missing is the metal mount that goes on top and the rubber piece that goes up top too. I don't know what it's called. Once I get those two, I could put the drive shaft in. Well, I could put the drive shaft in now, but I could put the drive shaft in, and then I could fill up the rear diff after I get the crush washer for the drain plug and the crush washer for this drain plug where the jack is. And then that is pretty much it. Fix the axle boot. Hopefully the other two back there aren't leaking. They look pretty good when I clean them and put them in, so those should be good. It was just the front one. So everything is coming slowly together. This is the shifter. So this is neutral, right? Feels good. Obviously feels what neutral should feel like. If you have a WRX, you know, you put in gear right, and you have a good amount of play when you go side to side. With these new bushings and everything, I'm trying so hard and it barely moves. It feels night and day difference of WRX STI trans, especially with these new bushings from Torque Solutions. This is not a full short shifter kit. I did not buy like the Cobb short shifter or whatever, but it feels way better than a WRX one. If anyone's ever driven an STI compared to a WRX, you know the difference. I haven't even driven it and I could already tell the difference of how it's gonna feel. Can't wait to see how it feels when I'm driving with the new lightweight flywheel and all that stuff. So I'm excited. I am very, very excited. I will be picking this up again later this week. I should get the boot in the mail by then, by Friday. It is Monday night, so I'm gonna order it tonight. I should get the boot, and then I should get my other package of the little spring and bolt. We could put the intercooler back on. We could put the axles in, drive shaft, get everything tidy up, and then fire her up. We are heading to AutoZone. I'm going to pick up this DEI or Design Engineering like gold reflective heat wrap tape, if you guys know what I'm talking about. It's people use it for their intakes, so they tape off stuff in the engine bay just to help protect it from the heat of like the exhaust or anything hot. If you guys have used like heat wrap or done anything with exhaust and you're trying to do like heat protection, then you probably know what I'm talking about. I literally drove to like O'Reilly's in like 6 different AutoZones yesterday and I could not find it. This morning I called like 3 different AutoZones and the last one I called finally had it, so I'm going to pick it up. Hopefully he has what I was talking about. I explained it. There's really no other way to explain it. It looks like a duct tape roll and it's gold reflective in color. We are back from AutoZone. So I drove about 15 minutes away. They didn't end up having it. I don't know why the guy told me they did, but I ended up buying this silver one. The silver and the gold is basically the same. The only difference is the gold is rated for a higher heat. The silver is rated up to 400 degrees. This should be good, hopefully. I don't see why not. The reason I ended up getting this is because I have the fabric heat protection over my current boost lines, but it's getting old. It's like fraying and all that stuff. I wanted to redo it with the tape and not have to worry about it because I know this can catch fire. So that is the last thing I want, is my car to burn down. Bought a new line, and this line was still good. Is the one that came with the Grim Speed boost controller. So I'm gonna get these cut up to the same length, wrap them in the heat wrap, and then we should be good. That should be pretty much it. Put them back on, and then when my dad gets home, steal some zip ties from his work truck, and then that's pretty much it. Nothing crazy, pretty simple. I'm gonna start taking these off the little brass T and then cut them up to the same length, and then that should be good. We got the lines wrapped, we got them all installed again. All I need to do is zip tie everything right where they mount up to the wastegates and the boost controller. Zip tie everything up, and then this will be good. I just got in the mail my shifter pieces and the last bolt and the spring I needed for up top by the intercooler on the transmission for the pitch mount and the clutch. Got the last shifter pieces. Can finally finish the shifter portion, get the boost lines all zip tied up. I can install the drive shaft, the exhaust, everything underneath. Everything will be done. Fill up the rear diff, And then the only thing I needed, like I said earlier, was the ripped axle boot, right? I was trying to find a boot replacement. Apparently you cannot replace the boot on the STI axles. They're not like regular axles. I don't know why. I don't know what's special about them. They just said they're not serviceable. I've asked plenty of people. They say they can do it, and then other videos show you can't. I just wanted to find a used one. I couldn't find anywhere that had a used one nearby. I didn't want to buy one from somewhere far, and I couldn't even find anyone that had them. Nobody had them used. All the places I've called, all the shops, Subaru shops, anywhere. So I ended up biting the bullet, spending the $400 to buy a brand new STI axle. We should be able to finish everything today. Cross my fingers. I have all the parts. I have everything I need, so I'm gonna get started putting everything back together, and the car should run tonight and we should be able to rip her. There's a 300 to 500 mile break-in on the clutch that I read from Advanced Clutch, so I'm gonna do that, and then we should be able to do some pulls. But my main thing is just being able to drive the car tonight. It's been so long. I've been dying. I've been trying to stay patient. The only thing was the axle, the last thing, and then I had the shifter parts in the mail, but those finally came. So the only part I had left was the axle, and I didn't want to wait anymore. For me, money comes and goes. Yeah, I didn't want to spend the $400 to buy a brand new axle, but it is what it is. Rose should be back up tonight. We should have everything done, this whole mess cleaned up, and we should be solid. So let's get started. I'm gonna install this transmission plate and like the transmission tunnel. I believe it goes on top, and then this boot goes on top as well. Rose is alive. Rose is back. I have a lot of explaining to do. The car's done. I know last off we left it wasn't done, but she's done now. The last thing we left off with was all the shifter assembly stuff, and then basically after that all I needed the axle. With, like I told you guys, I ended up biting the bullet and just buying a brand new one from Subaru for like $400. That allowed us to complete the car. I had my dad go to Subaru of Ontario. They're the only Subaru that had an axle in stock. If not, I would have had to order it and wait. So it was like fate. It was the last one. Picked it up, basically went into grind mode. There wasn't a lot to do, but it was all tedious stuff. Finishing all the shifter stuff, putting the interior back together, putting the drive shaft in, putting the front axles in, filling the rear diff and the transmission, bleeding the clutch, putting the axle nuts on, exhaust back on. So nothing crazy hard. It was just all tedious stuff, and I ended up staying up till like 2 a.m. to finish everything, but we got it done. I'm gonna go get an alignment right now, just because it was thrown off from the front camera bolts, because I didn't mark them to where they were last time. I just forgot about it. But I'm gonna get an alignment right now, and then that's pretty much it. The car is done. The clutch, stage 2 heavy duty clutch with a lightweight flywheel. Can't do pulls. They said it's like a 300 to 500 mile break-in, but I know as soon as I hit the 300 I'm gonna do a pull. So I'm gonna drive it a lot today. This clutch is super aggressive. Like there's no like feathering it. Like I could try, but it is very like, as soon as you let off it wants to go. Clutch grabs so hard, so I'm definitely gonna get used to it. I did stall already on my first drive, on my first test drive, but everything feels good, everything sounds good. No leaks, no fluids come out anywhere. Rose is back. I can't be happier. She needs a wash badly, but you know, we're gonna get that tomorrow. I have one scheduled, so hopefully we'll get washed tomorrow, get the alignment done right now, just drive her around today, get the miles in, and that's pretty much it. I am back from the alignment. We got Rose up in the air. It was 50-mile drive. I also drove to Subaru for something real quick. The alignment's all good. Drove it home, jacked it up to double check everything underneath, make sure everything's good. Everything looks good. I did spill a lot of brake cleaner, so there was some like fluid down there. Hopefully it's not a leak. I don't think it is, so I cleaned everything up again, and if it comes back then it's a leak, but if it goes away and it's very minimal, we should be good. The only thing is the rear axle on the driver's side. It is slinging grease. I'm going to try to have them replace it. I try to give them the benefit of the doubt with the first one on the driver's side front, but you know, it is what it is. They kind of give me a bad axle. Kind of seems like they gave me almost a whole bad set, so I'm gonna try to have them replace it, just because I don't think I should be replacing it myself and have to pay for a new boot or a new axle or whatever the case is. But we will see what happens. If I have to pay for it, then I do, which sucks, but you know, it is what it is. Besides that, everything's pretty good. Just make sure nothing's leaking, replace that rear axle, and Rose should be good. She should be back on the road. I'm gonna drive it, keep breaking in the clutch. It is instilling grease in the rear, but I'll just keep cleaning it up, keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the front, make sure nothing's leaking. The stage 2 clutch is no joke. It does grab very aggressively. There's like no feathering it, and I have to rev it up super high if I want to like try to feather it, like if I'm reversing or whatever. Shout out to Advanced Clutch. It is a good clutch. I can't wait to do some rips after I break it in and all that. I did stop after the shifter assembly. I didn't record too much, but I was just trying to grind it out and get it done. My initial thoughts of the STI drivetrain and the trans is 9-day difference between the WRX. It's way more notchier. The gears are, not the gears, but throw is shorter. With the new bushings from Torque Solutions, everything's way stiffer. There's no play really at all. It's just straight to gear to gear to gear. That'll be it for this video. STI Swap is good. She drives. Actually, one last thing that I did notice, when I'm shifting, the little gear display on the newer models, it shows like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It'll go from 4th, and when I go to 5th, it'll still show 4, and then it'll show 6 when it gets in 6. I don't know why that is. Maybe I unplugged the battery and reset it. I don't know, but I just thought it was funny. I don't really care because it doesn't really affect the car at all. It's just like a number on display, but I thought it was pretty funny. I don't know why. Maybe it'll go away, maybe it won't. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm glad Rose is back up. I hope you guys are too. Can't wait to start going to meets again and install the front lip and splitter. And then I got a new part coming soon. It should be coming at the end of September. It is the middle of September. I'm pretty sure today is September 17th. So they said at the end of September it should come. So we got a new part coming. And then that should be pretty much it for the outside. After we get that part, install the front lip and splitter, we got the drivetrain, the motors, semi bolt-ons I'm missing from Mount E. That'll come eventually. Stay tuned for the next video. It'll be more updates of how Rose is doing, you know, car meet. We'll have a video soon installing the front lip and splitter. Drop a like down below, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.